Hello again. I'm out here near Mount Rainier. They opened up the Paradise to Sunrise road, so I'm checking out the views. Found a nice view right here on the side of the road. I'm going to set up and do a quick painting. Let me show you. I believe that's Unicorn Peak. I like the snow pattern and the shadow pattern on those rocks, so I'm going to set up and do a quick study of those peaks in the snow. I'll just do an 8x10 panel, something quick. I'm not going to do the whole mountain scene, I'm not going to do the whole mountainside, just zoom in on that section there. I'll probably edit out that big tree in the foreground. So let me get set up. As always, thanks so much for joining me. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. In my last few episodes, I've been out at Reflection Lakes near Paradise on Mount Rainier. Now I'm driving from the Paradise area to the Sunrise area on Stephen Canyon's road. It's a road that opens up for a brief period during the summer when the snow melts. Okay, I've gone with a portrait layout, and I went up to a 9x12 panel since this is a nice spot in the shade and it's such a pretty view. And since it's relatively early, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning, I should have a few hours of pretty consistent light to get it done. So first up, I'll sketch it really quick with a pencil, and after that I'll go with a turpentine wash. I have a very light, rough sketch in, and I've mostly erased those 1/3 lines that I used to draw the composition. I draw the sketch in just to give me a quick guide for doing the initial wash. When you're doing plein air, you want to be efficient. You want to move as quickly as you can because the conditions are going to change, the light's going to change, maybe some bugs or some wind or some rain will show up. So a little advice, put out more color, put out more paint than you think you'll need. Also, always put the colors in the same locations. Try to, at least. If you introduce a new color, put it in a logical spot. That way mixing becomes faster. For the initial wash, I used artist distilled turpentine. I want to go lighter and warmer, so lighter in value, less dark, and warmer, so closer toward the red end of the spectrum and away from the blue. Obviously there's a lot of blue in the scene and a lot of green, which can be kind of cool, but I'm also seeing a lot of yellow ochre in the landscape, a lot of alizarin crimson in the mountain, and even some alizarin crimson in the sky. A lot of burnt sienna too, where the sun is hitting the rocks, and some very warm greens where the sun is hitting the mountain and the hills. So those are the colors I'll use for the initial wash. I'll try to go very fast and very loose, and then wipe away the lightest lights, the snow and where the sun is hitting the side of the rock face along the road there. I'm going to use a nice big brush. It's like a 1-inch older Utrecht bristle brush. Okay, the wash is done. I'll let that set up just a little bit, and then I'll take a brush with a little bit of mineral spirits and wipe away the lightest lights. Well, I lost the shade. The sun kind of broke higher than I thought it would. I'm gonna put a little sunscreen on and put my wide-brimmed hat on and just keep going here in the sunlight. Using turpentine, the oil paint sets up very quickly, especially on a warm day, sunny day. So now I've switched to Gamsol, and I'm going to mix up some colors for the sky and the mountains and get those blocked in first. I'll kind of work from the background to the foreground, dark colors to light colors. There's just a subtle shift, warmer and lighter, as the sky gets closer to the horizon. I don't know if that's coming out in the video or not, but the sky next to, right against the mountain, touching the mountain, is just a little warmer and lighter. As it climbs, it gets a little cooler and darker. I'm also trying to stay with the initial color scheme, and so I'm going to keep some alizarin crimson and burnt sienna added into almost every color and let that be the kind of color harmony. Changing conditions are always a challenge when you're painting plein air, when you're painting on location. The weather, the lighting, the bugs, the temperature, everything can change pretty quickly. You can get rain, you can get strong sun. So what do? I try to capture what really drew me to the scene as quickly as I can. I try to focus on that first, get that down, and then I can finish the rest in the studio. I'm switching to a short-handled, kind of larger Rosemary & Co. ivory filbert. These are great. They cover a lot of ground quickly, but they also have kind of a sharp edge, allows good control. So I can do some drawing on that mountain. brutal, and I got what I wanted out of the painting. I got the composition and the colors in that mountain, that unicorn peak. Let me show you what I got. Here's where it ended up. It's a little dark. When I take it back to the studio, I'll lighten the values a bit. I got the composition down, and I got the colors of those rocks. The snow color is just about right, just leaving it with the initial wash. Maybe a hint of alizarin crimson in the faces that are turning away. I'll do that in the studio, and I'll rough in the foreground as well in the studio. When I do it in the studio, I'll try to use the same brushes and the same kind of loose, fast approach so that the painting looks consistent. Yeah, beautiful day here on the mountain. I had a good time. I hope you enjoyed watching the painting process, and I hope to see you out on the trail. Please keep an eye out for my next episode. I'll show you how I finish this painting up in the studio. I'll go into some detail on the materials and the methods I used to keep the painting fresh and in harmony with the original plein air. As always, thanks so much for joining me.